as you brought up earlier on, there are typically two paths that appear to be followed. It's either you go towards the left or you go towards the right, and the left being represented by progressivism in all of its forms, and the right in many different ways. But you're putting forward the traditionalist reactionary way, I suppose. So let's try and imagine that the people listening to this show, they might be parents of children, they might be people around your age wondering, and perhaps triggered throughout the whole of this conversation because you have been talking about things that just step all over how they see the world. How would you give them a positive view as to why to follow you and your path, as opposed to go down the one that people have come to think Gen Z follow of progressivism?
It's not even follow me. I'm following the same path set forward by the wisdom of tradition. I am suspending my incessant need to rationalize everything, to think there must be something in a more morally healthy civilization that we're lacking, and that I can follow the incentives of rather than what's given to me right now. But also, I'd encourage them just to sort of follow their instincts. I mean, of course, habit is the kind of digested and unexamined wisdom that we've consciously learned. So your instincts can be misaligned. But lots of people, and this is why there's so much energy put in from everything from pride parades to fat acceptance, to encourage you to suppress that little voice in your gut and your head that says, this isn't good for you. You could be doing better. You're actually uncomfortable. This is why so many women are handed birth control pills or SSRIs as a substitute for meaningful connections in their lives, and listening to their discuss sensitivity reflex and listening to their emotions. The amount of women I've spoken to in my personal life, friends and girlfriend and that, who will vent anger at the current corporate and social environment and then go, but I'm probably just hormonal and I'm probably just angry for no reason. It's like, no, your instincts are probably right. Like, if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I actually am quite lonely. No, the friends around me may not have my best intentions at heart. No, my job is kind of meaningless, actually. No, civilization isn't set up in such a way where I feel that I've met the right person and I have the family I would want yet. You should probably listen to that instinct. And then you should be appropriately sad. You should use that as a reminder that you don't want to be in that situation again, and improve yourself sufficiently, surround yourself with people who are willing the good in you, who love you. And then you should also hold on to that anger. Because again, civilizational decline, the position you're in, is a choice. It is a choice that's been made for you, probably because before you were born. For me, 1997, when we were promised things will only get better, and they didn't. So direct that anger appropriately and enact political change from the local level, and I will attempt to do so while shouting from outside of Parliament, never inside it, on the national level, until such a time where all the problems are fixed and I can go back to digging gardens for a living quite quietly.
Well, Connor, I'm very glad you decided to get involved in whatever it is that we're involved in right now, because it's quite hard to pull on the threads of where we're at and where we're going. But clearly, we need someone who's able to try to make sense of things that we've learned throughout the human history, what's working, what isn't. And it's great to have someone who is making such waves, I suppose, within your generation. Before I let you go, I want to ask you a question which I've started to ask all guests, which is, what have you changed your mind about recently or ever during the course of your life when you thought you were so set on that thing? And what was it that made you change?
I suppose there's two small things. One is definitely Catholicism. So I was baptized, but I didn't go to church regularly. And then in 2008, my uncle committed suicide, and it broke the family apart. And my mum started taking me to church to find a bit of community. And as a kid, you're impatient. You'd rather get home and play Xbox. But I've found the wisdom in the tradition, and just seeing the people that go and the virtue that they self-evidently emanate. I want to be like those people, actually, rather than everyone else on the outside world. And then the other thing was kids. I was in a relationship when I basically first got involved in politics during my university years, where my then girlfriend didn't want children, and I had a rough time at secondary school and various reasons, and I was a bit depressed and down on myself, and I couldn't conceive of myself as an adult yet. Therefore, I didn't think I could take proper responsibility for my own kids, and so it was a sort of distant idea. But then when I was asked at a dinner last year with a bunch of far more successful people than me, including future guest on your channel, Mary Harrington, my good friend, what we want to do in 5 years. They all said, "Oh, write a book and influence politics," things like that. And I said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to write a book, of course, but first and foremost is be a dad, because the men in my life that I admire most are my grandfather, both sets of grandfathers. One's a borderline adventurer, the other one built every brick wall from age 15 to 70 in my local area. And my dad, who sacrificed for 15 years doing 9 shifts a week just to ensure that I could have a house and be the first person in my immediate family, my chain, to go to university and do something which wasn't just, even though I greatly respect and enjoy manual labor, actually, it wasn't just purely manual. You know, I could pursue a path that I really cared about. And the main thing I want to do is pay that forward to my own sons with a wife that loves me and a house that's nice and secure. And I'll keep fighting for the conditions to enable that for me and everyone else who wants it.